Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your additional Raw review for June 15th, 2015. Be straight up with you guys, this episode was actually not too bad whatsoever. I was pretty satisfied with it, surprisingly. After the last several weeks of boredom and blatant garbage, this one wasn't actually too bad. It was pretty, okay. You could actually watch it and enjoy some moments here and there that was really good. So, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So the beginning of the show, we went ahead and we had Seth Rollins, or Dean Ambrose come out. He, was stating that he lost the match, but he came really close to winning, and pretty much a typical fashion of saying it was a big fight, they fought hard, and he just didn't come away with the win and so forth, and he wanted Seth Rollins to come out, and he wasn't going to go anywhere until he showed up, and he sat there and waited in a chair until he did. Seth Rollins comes out, shoots his shit, and kind of just says he didn't need anybody's help, not even Triple H or Stephanie McMahon's help or anything like that, and kind of badmouthed him a little bit, which kind of left a little bit of a sour taste in the authorities' mouth, but who really cares? I don't give a shit. But a pretty decent promo. It wasn't like Seth Rollins seemed like he was reading too much into a script on this one. He seemed more natural. If he was reading a script, he was doing a great job of it, and sounding more natural than, reading off of a piece of paper kind of thing. It didn't seem so robotic, I guess you could say. But then afterwards, Sheamus came out during this promo, said, hey, we have something similar, we both like to fight, but, I won, you didn't, so forth, and I won the Money in the Bank, you didn't win anything, kind of thing. So it's scheduled a match between Dean Ambrose and Sheamus. Wasn't too bad. Dean Ambrose walked away with the victory against Sheamus, and it was about 10 minutes long. Good match, good quality. Give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Decent match. Following at that point, we got a little bit of insight on the whole match between Kevin Owens and John Cena. Very good. Again, match was an outstanding event. It really met a lot of expectations and surpassed it by some people's expectations, I think. Definitely surpassed my expectations. I was thinking this was going to be a little bit less of what Elimination Chamber was, but would come close, and it surpassed it, actually. But that's not here or there. We then get a next match after that with R-Truth and King Barrett. King Barrett loses in 22 seconds against R-Truth, who has done hardly nothing and been doing absolutely nothing since the beginning for a long while. King Barrett, I don't know what the hell they did with this guy. Is it like them? Is it a way of WWE saying and making a joke out of if somebody wins the King of the Ring, they're cursed, they're not going to go anywhere in their career, they got no way of... It's not a sign that you're going up in the company, it's a sign that you're going downward in that kind of sense. I don't quite understand any of this. I think it's really sick and disgusting. I mean, at the end of the match, even though he lost, he knocked out R-Truth and then stood there and acted like he was a big badass, and he lost to R-Truth, for God's sakes, in less than a minute. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing with Barrett, but they're like they're like really destroying his character and making him seem like nothing in this company. I don't quite understand any of that with that situation, but that's not here or there. The next match we had before this, Kevin Owens came out and did shot a promo on John Cena in their match, and Kevin Owens did a really good standard promo about his feelings about John Cena and everything else, and it was very good. I did enjoy it. He made a challenge to whoever wanted to face him to have a match in a non-title match, even though it came across as if he was challenging someone for a one-on-one match, and for his NXT title. But that wasn't the case. Dolph Ziggler came out, challenged him, and lost. In a very good match, but nonetheless, he lost. I mean, it really is getting kind of boring to see Dolph Ziggler lose so many matches and put on great performances at the same time. Just kind of tells you maybe there's a sign that Dolph Ziggler might be leaving the company altogether and not re-signing with him. The next match after that was Kane and Randy Orton. Kane and Randy Orton was scheduled originally to be a singles match, turned into a no-holds-barred. Sheamus came down to the ring and was going to act like he was going to attack him. So Kane decided, okay, to heck with it. I'm just going to turn it into a no DQ because I'm director of operations or what have you. And Sheamus interfered, and Randy Orton got pinned 1, 2, 3. It was an alright match. Nothing really exciting about it. I glanced at it pretty much. I didn't really care for it. We then had a promo by Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns had an interesting, well, I wouldn't say interesting. I mean, it was kind of a unique confrontation between him and Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, pretty much came out and said what I said, the reasoning behind what he did at Money in the Bank, which was the only logical sense that you could make out of it, and that was the case, is that he had a one-on-one match with him a couple of weeks ago, to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match and take Roman Reigns' spot. He lost that match, unfortunately, and had nothing to do with the match at all. So there was his reason. Simple as that. Nothing extraordinary, but he expanded on that and made no fucking sense as usual. Generally, to me, Bray Wyatt makes no fucking sense when he talks. He sounds, like he's cool, creative with his character, but the words that come out of his mouth don't exactly make much sense to me. I mean, it really, it's not logical. It sounds kind of like he's trying to be the ultimate warrior with we're gonna go in a ship and we're gonna land on the moon and bust into it or some shit. Whatever, like he did with the promo with Hulk Hogan for WrestleMania 6. But it really, a lot of times Bray Wyatt's promos make absolutely no sense. I mean, if they did this with The Undertaker, I don't think The Undertaker would have went nowhere with this kind of character. I just think this is nuts. Character-wise, body language, the way he acts, I think is cool, but what he talks about makes no sense and is completely over the head of everybody in the audience, I think. At least the one thing that made sense out of that promo is he wanted the opportunity and he lost that opportunity, so he wanted to get back at Roman Reigns, and he did. And that's the whole reason for this match between these two. So that's the only reasoning behind any of this. So anyway, moving on with all this crap. Well, I wouldn't say it's crap because I did say it was a decent show. The next thing after that was The Miz defeating the Big Show in a countout. This match was pretty okay. I mean, well, not really okay, but it was just whatever. It was to be expected, and they were also in Cleveland, Ohio, which was expected. Oh yeah, I didn't happen to mention. I'll mention this later on after I'm done with the rest of the with the rest of this these results here. In my opinion about it. Yeah, this match was kind of interesting. Ryback looked like a badass. He was sitting on the by the announce team, watching the match as it unfolded, and Big Show threw Miz into Ryback, so he went ahead and retaliated and got mad at Big Show for doing that, and they like beat the shit out of each other and what have you, or whatever. And Ryback really looked badass in this. So definitely, they're doing a good job trying to build him up, even though they're using him with a bad character like the Big Show. Because the Big Show right now and where he's at in his career, he's like in Nowheresville. He's got nothing going for him. He's an over-the-hill wrestler. He really needs to retire, as well as Kane. I mean, they were once great wrestlers. They're not those kind of wrestlers anymore. So, I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal. I didn't really care for it all that much. So, I mean, outside of Ryback at the end doing his thing with, you know, the Big Show, I thought that was great. Kind of reminded me of Brock Lesnar back when he was a young guy starting out in WWE. That's how it reminded me when I saw Ryback with Big Show. So that was pretty cool. The next match was the handicap match between the Bella Twins and Paige. Once again, Paige loses to Bella Twins. Really, like, when the hell are they going to give Paige an opportunity to win at least one match against these two bitches? It was an okay match. I wouldn't say it was bad, but, you know, it was what it was, a Divas match. Who cares? But, yeah, it was bullshit, in all honesty, because it was just a disadvantage to Paige, and Paige is yet to win one match. I think it would have been better if they had Paige win with a disadvantage. I think that would have been better. It would have made the rivalry more interesting. Now at this point, it seems like a dud. It seems like there's nothing left for it. There's no more need to keep going forward with this if she's gonna lose every single time when she faces the Bella Twins. So it's kind of stupid. I think they should have had Paige win that match, but whatever. The next match after that was a 6-man tag team match with Neville and the new tag team champions Primetime Players against the New Day. New Day lost. Good match, not bad. Liked how they put the ending with Neville doing his Starship Pain, or the Red Arrow, or whatever the hell they call it. It looks kind of like a modified version of the Superstar Press, like Billy Kidman used to do. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. Out of everybody in this match, fucking Neville's the only great wrestler in this whole scenario. But hey, it was a decent match. Good deal. Then at the end of the show, we went ahead. Well, before I get into the actual ending with the promo that they had to find out who was going to be the new challenger for the WWE Championship by Stephanie and Triple H. Before that, I get into that. Seth Rollins in the earlier part of the show, when he came out in the beginning, talked trash about Johnny Manziel not going to ever be able to help Cleveland win a Super Bowl, and LeBron James was never going to help win them an NBA championship. I thought that was an outstanding approach as a heel to say that. I mean, he was downright demolishing Cleveland, and on top of it, called the city a piece of crap. And in all honesty, that's a sore spot to Cleveland, because Cleveland has yet to win a championship in such a long time. And in Cleveland, for the Cavaliers, have never won, not once, won the NBA championship, unlike their adversaries, the Golden State Warriors, who have at least won the championship once. So, getting now into the biggest part of the show. The biggest thing. It's not a match, it's nothing but a promo that made this show feel good to me. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, they come down to the ring. Seth Rollins comes down. He's waiting for an announcement. Who is the guy? And, you know, they're saying, well, you've beaten this guy, you've beaten that guy, you've done well. Now it's time to see what you're really made of. We're going to put you under some pressure. And they used an analogy by putting a piece of coal under pressure. There's some pieces of coal that when you put a lot of pressure on it, they bust. And then there's some that turn into a diamond. And their attitude was, okay, what are you, a bust or a diamond? And the way they felt, the only way to challenge him for that is dragging in good old Brock Lesnar. And this was a hell of a confrontation. They stood there and had a stare down that, you know, I mean, it wasn't the greatest stare down like a Sting and Triple H or a Rock and Hulk Hogan from 2002 stare down, but it was somewhat of a moment in wrestling history, and it was a young superstar going against a guy who is a fucking beast, who, you know, may not defend his championship wouldn't defend the title every month like every other normal champion does, but he is he's a star on this show. He makes this worth watching. I mean, granted, it sucks that if you make him the champion, you don't see him defend the title month after month until he loses it. But he is something that you can't let go of. He is somebody that you have use out of and can put on a great show and bring ratings and bring an audience. So this is going to be a hell of a match, whether if it has a good finish or not. The match itself is going to be interesting as shit, because the last time we saw Brock Lesnar, he was destroying everything in his sight, and Seth Rollins was running away like a bitch. This time, Seth Rollins wasn't running, but he had this look on his face. He was intimidated. So it should be interesting, and it should be a lot of fun to see. The show overall was pretty average. I would definitely give it a 3 out of 5 stars. I don't think it was too bad. I just think that and there was another moment that happened that was unbelievable. We had Machine Gun Kelly. He shot the shit too. He did a mini concert, and then Kevin Owens came out, and because we all know Machine Gun Kelly is kind of a fan of John Cena's, Kevin Owens came out acting like he was going to shake his hand, and instead he power bombed his ass straight the hell off the stage, which was really brought, you know, another moment brought back to the olden days when wrestling was actually at its finest point, and people were very into it, and it seemed more like a sport instead of some circus clown show. And that was another great moment on this Raw episode. It was well worth the time invested, so I really had no complaints about this show. Few of the matches could have been done better, but overall the show itself was pretty decent and well worth watching. But at this point, I'd like to hear your comments and opinions and what you thought of Monday Night Raw, and I'll get right back to you on those comments and opinions and respond back to you guys. At this time, as you know, always after watching my videos, please hit that subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for tuning in. You have a great night, guys. Bye.